Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for yet another rebuild, and strap yourselves in and get yourself a drink because this is going to be a long one, because we are taking our talents to England to rebuild Charlton Athletic. Now, when I was a kid, Charlton were in the Premier League or the top division in England, not so much anymore. They are now in Sky Bet League One, so obviously they're a little bit further down the pyramid, so take a little bit more time to rebuild and take them back to what they used to be in what I'm going to call the Alan Curbishley years. That's what I'm going to call them. If we dive into the game and take a look at their club info super quick, you can see here they are a one-time winner of the FA Cup in 1947, one-time winner of the Sky Bet Championship in 2000, and one-time winner of Sky Bet League One in 2012 as well. You can see they were in the Premier League not too long ago, genuinely. 2006, 2007 was their last time in the Premier League, and then they bounced around League One and the Championship for the last few seasons, and then last year finished in 13th, which is pretty disappointing for a club like this. The Valley is a nice big stadium. I've actually been there. It's one of the grounds that I've been to, and it is very, very nice. Press box, really, really irritating. You strap yourselves in like you're on an aeroplane seat. It's very weird, but the stadium other than that is pretty decent, and the team's very interesting as well. We'll be taking over the control of Charlton, and we need a good tactic to do this, and today we are using the GYR Grogu V2. This is the most recent version of the Grogu tactic on the latest match engine, and of course it is a little bit asymmetric, not isometric. You've got the DM off to the right hand side, you've got the centre mid off to the left hand side, the three behind the striker, and then the striker over to the left hand side, which is going to be Chuks and EK in this particular instance. This is the quick pick, guys, of the best 11. So ultimately, I think things are okay. I mean, we got lots of players on loan. As you can see, Sessegnon here is on loan. We've got Penny, Kilkenny, Rack Sakji is how I'm butchering this poor man's name. He's obviously on loan as well, on loan from Crystal Palace. So we've got lots of players on loan. The only player I do actually know in this team is Joe Woolacott, obviously the former Bristol City player. He's bounced around a lot of clubs as well, but that's the only player that I know in this team. If we go into the competitions tab, guys, this is how we're looking. We do have the 4 competitions. Obviously, Sky Bet League One is the main bread and butter. We'll be trying to get ourselves promoted at the first time of asking. Emirates FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and the Papa John's Pizza Trophy, because who doesn't like winning a pizza cup? So basically, guys, what we're going to do is we are going to dive in and take a look at what we can do here. If we go and take a look at Sky Bet League One, obviously there are some big boys in this division, as we do know. Take a look at the season preview. Sheffield Wednesday are the favourites to go up. Ipswich Town, Derby County, Peterborough, Plymouth. There are some big boys in here. Bolton, Portsmouth as well. Big side. So we're going to see what we can do. We're predicted to finish in 9th. We have odds of 10 to 1. So that's going to be very interesting to see what we can do. So let's dive in and see what we can do in season number 1 after a word from the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever thought about stepping up from just being a player to owning your very own football club? Well, it's time to check out Striker Manager 3. In Striker Manager 3, you are not just a player, you are a creator and owner of your own world. You get your very own plot of land where you're in control of everything on and off the field. You can dive into the lineup tab and pick which formation your team is going to play and who is going to be in the lineup in that position. Off the field, it is entirely up to you, from development of your stadium and who sponsors each stand to the levels of stock in your club shop. Level up your team by playing regularly scheduled fixtures each week to earn more money to spend on your club. Or if you want to give your team a little boost, you can get the Striker Pass to gain even more rewards, or you can visit the Striker store and open some packs. So why just be a player when you can be a creator, a manager, and even an owner? Come and check out Striker Manager 3 and send me a friendly invite and we can have a game using the link in the description. Okay guys, so this is the end of season number 1, and you can see we've done really, really well. We've got ourselves promoted. We got over 100 points. But we didn't win the division. Ipswich Town did go on to win the title. Plymouth, Bolton Wanderers, Peterborough and Sheffield Wednesday are all in the playoffs. So we will be promoted to the Sky Bet Championship next season, which is going to be fantastic for us. 31 victories, 7 draws, 8 defeats, plus 60 goal difference, 100 points. We are pretty comfortably clear of Plymouth, who finished in 3rd, which is great to see. In terms of the Emirates FA Cup, we got to the 4th round, which is pretty good, before we got knocked out by Leicester City. First rounded in the Carabao Cup by Luton Town. It'd be interesting to see if they They did go on to get into the Premier League and then knocked out in the quarter-final of the Papa John's Trophy by Bristol Rovers. You couldn't write it for me as a Bristol City fan, but we get ourselves promoted. At the other end of the league, you can see Fleetwood Morecambe, Burton and Accrington Stanley get themselves relegated. If we go onto the home screen, you can kind of see Macaulay Bone was our top goal scorer for us all season. 30 goals and 7 assists in all competitions, which is pretty good turnaround, even though he is petrified of big matches, the poor man. He's bounced around a couple of teams. This is his second stint at Charlton Athletic. Other than that, I think we've done pretty well here. Obviously, to get ourselves promoted at the first time of asking was exactly what we wanted to do. Talking of money for the next season, obviously we do have a little bit of debt. You can see a lot of these loans here are repayable on promotion to the top division, so we don't actually need to start paying these ones back in particular until we get back into the Premier League. But there is a lot of chairperson loans. Hopefully we can kind of clear that. Obviously getting ourselves ultimately back into the Premier League would be very impressive, and once you're in the Premier League money takes care of you. That is for damn certain. So if we go on to the summary, you can see we've got about 46 grand in terms of the wage budget and about 71k. We're just going to move it all into the wage budget and try and actually build a squad of our own players at the very least, going into season number 2 when we're back in the Sky Bet Championship. Okay guys, so we're going to do things a little bit differently, so you're not stuck around here for hours in this rebuild. This is actually the end of season number 2, but I'm going to run through everything in one foul swoop, and we're going to do that on every single season because it's hot here today. I'm sure it's hot where you guys are, so fingers crossed we can just power through things. Obviously, all of these free transfers, guys, they are our youth intake players from the previous season, so I'm not going to talk about those guys too much. The players that we did sign for this season, though, Ethan Laidlaw. If you watch my Hibs rebuild, you know this guy is a stud. He is very, very good. High pace, high acceleration, knows where the back of the net is. It's exactly what you kind of want this year. Tom Edwards come in as well to be a right back for us. A nice little improvement in that position. We also signed Jack Simpson from Cardiff as well. Another defender, can play either left back or centre back, is exactly what you want. A nice little bit of versatility. 200k for the pair of those guys. And then if we move into the full season, you can kind of see here we've got 100k in transfers out in a couple of players. Daniel Kanu to Preston, Sam Lavelle to Cardiff as well for some fees as well. On the free transfers side of stuff, though, we did pick up Nathan Bishop, the goalkeeper from Manchester United. He came in on a free transfer on the 1st of July. Will Keane we also picked up from Wigan. He came in to be our central attacking midfielder in this particular tactic. He came in on a free transfer as well. We picked up Taylor Moore, my boy from Bristol City, who they've now actually released, and they definitely value better in Football Manager than they have done in real life. He looks really, really nice technically, so fantastic deal for him. 120k would rise to 140k. We also signed this guy from Ludogorets. Doran Ratiu is how I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Versatile player, can play in either wings, which is exactly what you want in this position. You want someone who can play in a lot of spots because this tactic's quite interesting. And then from Barcelona Athletic, we picked up this guy, Antonio Arandra. There we go. God, butchered that. As you can see, though, again, natural in several positions and can play in a lot of others as well, coming in as a 4-star player. So that was the transfer business for season number 2. Let's see how we did in all competitions. And if we go over to the competitions tab, the board were expecting us to avoid relegation. We've done better than that, guys. We've got ourselves to the Sky Bet Championship playoff final, where we took on Blackburn Rovers in that final. Miles Leaburn with the opener, Dillian Markanday with the equaliser for Blackburn, and then Will Keane, the former Wigan man, stepped up and slotted a penalty in extra time in the 102nd minute to see us get promoted to the Premier League. Yes, it has happened pretty darn quickly, and quicker than I anticipated, to be perfectly honest, but tactic's pretty darn good, and if you can build a team around it, then you're going to do well. You can see in terms of the stats on the game, we kind of battered them. 3.55 XG to their 1.47. Didn't really have much of a chance. There's some interesting names in this team as well. Brem Berrettons is still here. Kiefer Moore's knocking around. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Callum Doyle. Like, they had a good team, did Blackburn, but we managed to get past them. If I flick this over to the league table, you can see Wolves got themselves promoted as champions. Middlesbrough do come in second. We finished in third. We would have beaten Burnley in that playoff semis. I'll show you those in a second. And then Blackburn would have beaten Luton Town. So all in all, guys, I think we've done pretty well. If we go and have a look at the season, you can see our run-in was pretty solid, apart from a loss to Stoke towards the end of the season. In those games against Burnley, we beat them 4-1 at Turf Moor, absolute battering. Then we beat them 4-1 at our place as well. So we kind of showed that we were the better team for sure. And then obviously getting into that play-off final. In terms of some of the other competitions, though, fourth rounded by Stoke City in the FA Cup. Obviously, that was a bit of a bogey side for us, and then we got knocked out in the second round of the Carabao Cup by Aston Villa. But again, nothing to be sniffed at. If we go on to the home tab, Miles Leaburn was our top goal scorer in all comps. A former Chelsea lad, is at Charlton IRL, I believe, right now. He's now valued at 10.5 to 15 million pounds. Supremely well-rounded physically, nice mentals as well. 34 goals and 1 assist in all competitions, which is great. He's 6'5" as well, so an absolute handful for sure. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do with him. Arandra comes in as our top assist man as well. 19 assists, 19 assists for him. He's now valued at a huge fee as well, going into the Premier League, as you kind of would expect. And yeah, the team's cooking, boys. The team is cooking. And speaking of cooking, we're going into the Premier League, which means Premier League money, baby. Look at that overall balance, 31.4 million quid, and a transfer balance of 36 million pounds. The wage budget's like trebled plus. It's ridiculous. The Premier League money is just absolutely disgusting here, isn't it? And the net debt's gone. So we're in a good spot. Let's put it that way. Let's get into season number 3 to see how we do in our first season in the Prem. Okay guys, so season number 3 was our first year back in the Premier League, and you can tell we needed to really step up the levels of this squad, and you can see on screen that we've definitely done that. We've spent 54 million pounds, and I know what you guys are saying, Steve, you only had a budget of 36. Installments, my guys, installments are the ones. As you can see, we got 2.3 million pounds worth of money back. Majority of that was Scott Fraser going to St Johnstone, sending the Scotsman back home. He's 30 years of age. He's not Premier League quality. I'm sorry, Scott. You're gone. But this is the business that we have done. Obviously, you can see a lot of names in here. I'm going to kind of run through them really quickly. Samu comes in to play in midfield, 29 years of age, very well-rounded, much better than Scott Fraser, who we let go back to Scotland. He came in on a free transfer. Jacob Christensen comes in from Nordsjælland for 5 million quid. He is our new DM this season. Looks very well-rounded, 23 years of age as well, so you can make some good cashola on him. Marco Carnecci comes in. He is our new goalkeeper again. I'm sorry, Joe Wollacott, you are no longer our keeper this year. We have this guy, Carnecci, in goal. He comes in from Atalanta for 5.75 million pounds. Could rise and will rise to 7. Isaac Johannesson comes in, the Icelandic beast. If you've not signed him this year, please do go and do so. He is fantastic. Nice high physicals as well. Can play on the right, but I'd probably prefer him to play in the central midfield spot. Nice high determination as well, so you know he's going to develop. 22 years of age. Exceptional talent. Zeki Amundi comes in as a shadow striker or central forward. He can kind of play in both of those positions. Can also come in off the left-hand side. He's good on both feet. Mwah. Fantastic. Swiss international as well. Obviously, you can definitely see the tiers have really improved since the Sky Bet Championship days. Amadou Ngalo comes in as well. He is a beast at centre back. He is 6'1", supremely well rounded in terms of his physicals and his mentals. He again comes in from Nordsjælland, 4.75 million pounds for him. He was actually in my cheap wonder kid list if you've not seen that one. Hakon Arnar Haraldsson comes in, another Icelandic player as well, central attacking midfielder. He just looks great, doesn't he? 22 years of age. Icelandic names, man, or Scandi names, I really do struggle. Kevin Rieck comes in, another defender for us. Again, another step up, Swiss international, 7 caps for his country. Nice little player coming in there. He comes in from Verona for 6.25 million pounds. Christopher Lund, another player on my cheap budget wonder kid list. He plays Left back, another Danish youth international. Hasn't been capped by Denmark fully yet, but he will. He most certainly will. So the team is looking pretty spicy. Also signed this Brazilian as well. It's always good to have a good surplus of Brazilians, isn't it, in the Premier League. We also got this guy, Loic Bade, a centre-back, elite tier centre-back, 6'3", 25 years of age, French player. He's never going to play international football for France, but looks like a fantastic player. 15 pace on a centre-back. Highly recommend. And then we've got Gouda at central midfield. Again, another Portuguese player, 27 years of age. Sometimes it is important to not just sign these wonder kids, guys. Sign some of these players with a bit more experience. And then the alternate side of that coin is Thomas Estafias, the 23-year-old fullback. He comes in, former Porto player, on a free transfer. So before we dive into everything, guys, this is how the team was looking. If we quick pick out restriction, our best 11, this is kind of how everyone was looking. So you can kind of see all of the new signings effectively. It's effectively a whole new team, apart from Arandra, who held his place on the left-hand side. And you can see Zeki Amundi got a bag full of goals. 20 goals in the Premier League in his first season. You can already see he's wanted by Sheffield United. So I know the big question you're asking, how did we get on in the Premier League? Well, we just about survived, like by the skin of our teeth almost. We got 37 points and we did survive. Newcastle, interestingly enough, get relegated down into the Championship in season number 3 alongside Fulham and Middlesbrough. All their millions cannot save them from a relegation. We survived just about by 4 points, which is the main thing. The main thing was always going to be survival this season. Knocked out in the third round of the FA Cup by my boys Bristol City, which is still kind of painful. And then we got knocked out in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup by Leicester City. So overall, a fantastic season. The main goal for season number 3 was just going to be survival, and we definitely got the job done here, which is fantastic. Going into season number 4, obviously it's Premier League money. It's money. We have £65 million to spend. Let's go buy another new squad to compete at a higher tier of the Premier League for season number 4. Okay, guys, so we're back on the transfer screen for season number 4 in the Premier League, and the main goal this year was to kind of improve on last season's 16th place finish. So we needed some players to do so. Now, as you can see here, I've started off on this page because we kind of got some business done early doors. Thomas Biondi came in from Cologne. Obviously, we're starting to sign these the youngsters around the world. Obviously, the Wonder Kid filter out in force, as you can see. Santorino, another player, the Wonder Kid filter. Please do go and check it out. Links to it are in my Discord. Links to the Discord are in the description. Go and ask someone in there where the Wonder Kid finder is, because it is absolutely exceptional. We signed this guy as well. Niksa Delabasic is how I'm going to butcher this Serbian's name. Young Serbian. It's not a player that I've heard of, and he comes from the team that I can never pronounce as well for 1.4 million quid. Also brought in Dragan as centre-back cover because he is 19 years of age. He's 6'6", 17 jumping reach, and you know he's going to score corners despite the fact he can't really head. If you're seeing my network game on twitch.tv/HoodGamingUK, I have Benoit Badashile. The man is a goal-scoring machine because he has attributes very, very similar to this guy. Now we move into some of the other transfers, guys. Here we go. Here are the big spenders. Obviously, you can see we're just letting players go for dirt cheap. A couple players need to leave for money. A couple players leave on freeze. A couple players leave on loan. And let's talk about the players that we have spent some money on. Jack Butland hasn't been spent money on. He comes in on a free transfer. Backup goalkeeper vibes for Jackie Butland. Comes in on a free from Fenerbahce. Andrew, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, Omobandele. He comes in from Norwich. I should really know more about this guy, but I really don't. I'm sorry, Norwich fans. He comes in 16 pace, 15 acceleration, great composure. This guy is a good centre-back if you need someone in England, or if you need someone out of England and Norwich get relegated in a season, whatever, go and get this guy. He is very, very good. Elite tier centre-back, I would say. Osame, I'm butchering these names. Sharakwi is how I'm going to kill this guy's name. He looked decent as well. Nice little high dribbling number, high agility, so he's going to be tricky on the ball. The Jack Grealish-esque, picking up a lot of free kicks, I would imagine. Saska Lukic comes in as well, Serbian international, 63 caps for the Serbian national team, so you know this guy's a bit of a monster. To play for Serbia in a midfield with SMS, you're kind of going to need to be, isn't he? He comes in from Fulham from 25 million quid. Then in January, we re-strengthened a little bit more from Ludogorets, obviously going over to Bulgaria to pick up Nikolai Vaginalov. youngster, 18, new gen, as you can kind of see here, I believe. Looks like a new gen to me. I can never tell with the Zealand face pack that I've got. Yeah, he's got a bit of green over the top, so I assume he's a new gen. I can't really remember. This was a while ago, guys. He looks fantastic, though. High passing, high technique, high first touch as well. He looks really, really good coming in from Luda Goretz. So looking forward to him to be our star in the future. And if we go and take a look at the competitions, guys, this is how we have got on. Charlton finishing as 7th. We qualify for the Europa Conference League with a hell of a season. Zeki Amandine absolutely smashing it in terms of the goals again. He got 17 in the Premier League, and I will touch on that in a second. Did really, really well. 60 points for the boys. 18 victories, 6 draws, 14 losses. Obviously, Grogu doing the work here. Loads of those losses coming away. But when you say, oh yeah, you're going to lose away to Arsenal, you're going to lose away to Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, you kind of expect it, guys. So it's not the end of the world. Got knocked out in the 5th round of the Emirates FA Cup by Leeds United, and knocked out by Manchester City in the quarterfinals of that Carabao Cup. But the goal from the board was to just avoid Premier League relegation, and we have far superseded that. As you can see, Erling Haaland continues to score goals. Liverpool have won the Premier League back-to-back now, so they've done really, really well here. Sheffield United, Bournemouth and West Brom all get relegated. Did Newcastle come back up out of curiosity? Yeah. Comfortable champions for Newcastle, so they're going to be back in the Premier League next season with all their millions. So ultimately, we are going to be in Europe. Yes, it's the Conference League, but it's still going to be Europe in season number 5. If we go and take a look at the finances, you can kind of see here we have a nice overall balance. Obviously, the debt and the loans and stuff is gone. We do have a bit of transfer debt, but 78 million. This is why I find England boring, guys. But I find England boring. I find the money ridiculous. Let's go spend £78 million. So, you say about Chelsea spending some money on players. They just hoard all the players in. So that's where Charlton come in to pick up these players who are discarded and not loved by Chelsea, because we have raided Chelsea for this season. If you take a look at some of the players that we've picked up here, obviously we're going to start the business early. Nemanja Jovanovic comes in from TSC. Again, striker option for us. 15 pace, 15 acceleration. If you've not seen the Gibbs Show's video on pace and how important pace and acceleration can be in this year's game, please do go and check it out. Very good video from a good friend of mine. If we take a look at Jorge Guerrera, new gen, look at that mohawk. How strong is this mohawk? He can play centre-back, he can play right-back. I think with these physicals, he's definitely going to be a wing-back rather than a centre-back. But look at how good he is, man. High anticipation, high bravery. He's great for defenders as well. I think he looks like a fantastic prospect. £1.9 million. This is why you use the Wonder Kid filter, guys. This is why you rate the clubs in South America for these little gems. Alfonso Asfez, he comes in as well, a left back that I've not really heard of, from Pachua in Mexico. Let's open that back up. There you go. You can see him now. He's kind of giving me Leon vibes from back in the day. 5 caps for Mexico now, 26 years of age, resolute personality, high concentration, gets forward whenever possible is kind of what you want in this particular formation, because you're going to try and look at dominating things. He was £8.5 million. And then the boy that I mentioned from my network game, Big Bad Benoit Badiashile, is here. He is the beast, and man's going to score so many set pieces for us. It's so ridiculous. He doesn't score them directly, but the man knows how to put his head on the ball and put it in the back of the net. Kevin Alvarez comes in as well, another player from Pachua to play on the right-hand side. Obviously, we've basically just gone into Mexico and nicked their fullbacks and said thank you very much. He comes in to be our players, and then the other two that we've raided from Chelsea. Noni Madueke comes in for 25 million. Big Noni, as long as you can keep him fit this year, he is exceptional, and obviously not loved by Chelsea, because if I open up his profile, you can see, if we go on to his games, or what games should we say, hasn't played for Chelsea at all. So we'll have him for 25 million rather than letting him rot there. If we have a look at this guy as well, Kaser Kasedi, he comes in, he bounces around a lot of places on loan usually, just hasn't really done much this year. Played 10 times for Chelsea in the Premier League last year, 30 million quid for him. We've also picked up a bit more experience in some of these players as well, guys. As you can see, Leandro Trossard has left Arsenal. He's joined us on a free transfer. 32 years of age, versatile. Having experience really does help, guys. You don't want to go overboard with some of this. Alan St-Maximin came in from Newcastle as well. Obviously, having got back promoted, he was released. Look how happy he is. He got released, and he's still quick and he's still tricky, so very, very good there. Marco Verratti joins from Manchester United on a year for a free. He is now retiring. Old, but legend, in my opinion, Marco Verratti. Rafael Guerrero comes in as well, another left back. You can see, again, a little bit more experience on some of these boys. Even if we get a season or two out of them, it's nice to have that experience, even if he can't move as much. Bruno Alvarez comes in from Liverpool FC, another youth player. Obviously, you can kind of see we're doing the work here to set the foundation so that we can go on and sell players for profit, like I will talk about in a second. Mauricio Morelos comes in from Atletico Nacional as well. He's been out on loan at Ipswich Town, as you can kind of see. But this is what we're doing, guys. This is how we're trying to make some profit. Obviously, Guga, as you can see here, looks like a nice little player. You got him in for a free transfer from Rio Ave, selling for £10.75 million. That is the way you do things. Christopher Lund, again, why am I bouncing around too many screens here? There you go. We paid £4.8 million for him, double our money, and sell him a couple seasons later. This is exactly the model that you need to be successful. So if we go into the competitions tab, here you have it right here. We have done very, very well. It actually turned out last season. If we go into the Premier League and take a look at the stages, we actually did qualify for the Europa League last season. It said Europa Conference League last time, and turns out we were actually into the Europa League, which is very interesting, because we actually finished runners-up of the Europa League, which is very, very weird. Being in European competition, I find the Europa League really easy to win this year. I don't know why. Obviously, we didn't win it this time, but a team the size of Charlton shouldn't be getting anywhere near this far. We got to the final where we took on Inter Milan, losing in extra time. Alan St-Maximin and Jovanovic with the goals for us. Vlasic, Denzel Dumfries, and Sergio Gomez with the goals for Inter, getting the job done. Obviously, they've had a change of manager because they are playing a 4-2-3-1. That's not what they will be playing tonight in the Champions League. Obviously, I'm recording this before the Champions League final happens. My bet is Man City to smash Inter Milan. Let me know down in the comments if I was right. Who knows? And then in the other cups, third round of the FA Cup by Wolves, knocked out in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup by Liverpool, and a top 6 finish, meaning we qualify for the Europa League yet again. If we go onto the home screen, Jovanovic was a good pickup for us, obviously from Serbia, from TSC in Serbia, 19 years of age, taking the Premier League by storm just because he's fast. I genuinely think that. 15 pace, 15 acceleration, 16 agility as well, high dribbling attribute. Looks like a great little player. And to go on and score 20 goals in your first season in the Premier League, that is exactly what we are looking for with this type of player, guys. Leandro Trossard, despite being old, and St-Maximin, despite being older, are two highest assisters with 12 assists apiece. This team is really, really good, guys. If I quick pick without restriction at the end of the season, you can kind of see how we are looking right about now. There you go. This is the team and how we are looking, guys. I think we're strong. I think we're really strong. Obviously, we've got the two Mexican fullbacks, the Irish dude alongside Badiashile for the two centre-backs. These guys are big, scored decent amount of goals. I mean, only 5 for Badiashile is a little bit disappointing, but maybe we can get a few more out of him. But the forward line are just sharing the goals between them, as you can see. Haraldsson with 15, Alan St-Maximin with 17, 18 on Zeki, Amandi Amdoni, that's definitely how you say it, isn't it? Then we've got 20 for Jovanovic here, 13 for Johannesson. So you can kind of see that kind of sharing the ball around, which is exactly what you want. You don't want one social figure who's kind of just going to boss everything. But I have seen our goalkeeper is wanted by RB Leipzig, so that could be a problem. But ultimately, guys, I think this season has been fantastic. Roll on season number 6. Right, so for season 6, we got a little bit carried away with the save, and we forgot to put a save point in at the end of the season. So I'm going to kind of match this up as much as I possibly can. Some of the transfers that we've picked up, we've signed Cristiano Ronaldo. Not that one. He's a new gen. Promise. He comes in from Flamengo. He is now on the development list, a young centre-back. Looks like an interesting prospect. We paid £6 million for him, and as you can see now, he's valued at 13 to 15 and a half. So, again, it's kind of making these building blocks here. Also, obviously, you can see Joel Law, again, another 20-year-old, another youth player, exactly the kind of same, coming in from Inverness. Then another guy coming in from Colchester. Sometimes you have to pick up the best players in the lower leagues. He's a USA player coming out of Colchester? I need to have a second look at this guy. Yeah, he's bounced around a couple players, a couple teams, and obviously he's now back with us. And then that is where the transfers go a bit wonderful, because it's going into next season's transfers because of where we saved it. But it's okay. Fabio Esposito comes in, another new gen high technical, yeah, pretty high technical goalkeeper. Looks pretty good. A guy from Kettering Town, Mark Morgan, again another new gen. Some of these new gens have face packs because of the Zealand face pack from my Versailles save. They don't necessarily all have them. I think I need to remove that. That will make my life much easier. Mohammed Ahmed comes in. Ooh, that's a Somalia. That's a flag that I didn't know. You're learning every day. He comes in on a free transfer. And then Devonshire Cougars give us Mark Hall. Again, another guy from Bermuda. Some of these new gens. Again, you just go in and sign some of these new gens, guys, just to kind of help you in the long run. Even if you can sell some of these guys for more than 71k, you're in good profit. Now, I do have to talk to you about a big transfer out and a goalkeeper switch around, because our goalkeeper got purchased by Newcastle. 28 years of age now, 6'3", obviously. He goes to Newcastle for 30 million quid, as you can kind of see over here. And Elia Caprelli goes to joins from Brescia for 6.25 million. He was our goalkeeper for that particular season. Now, I can't really talk to you directly about all the cup competitions and stuff, because as I said, we got a little bit too overzealous. We're kind of basically right here at the start of season number 7 here. So I'm going to go back into the fixtures and talk to you about several things. Obviously, you can see we were in the Europa League, guys, so we did power through the Europa League. We did push forward. We got knocked out in the 4th round of the EFL Cup by Burnley. Adam Armstrong and Justin Walcott with the goals there for Burnley. But other than that, we were pretty darn successful. Nice little run in the Europa League. Got past Preston in the FA Cup there until the 5th round, where we got knocked out by Leeds United at Ellen Road. Zakarian, David Neres and Christian Pulisic. How different that Leeds team would look from now to then. Into the knockout stages of the Europa League, though, guys, then we had FC Utrecht, who we comfortably dispatched 6-1 on aggregate. Then we had Newcastle, who took our goalkeeper. We beat them 2-0 in the home leg and then lost 1-0 at St James's Park. We did go through, which is nice to see, into the semi-finals, where we took on Atalanta. Much the same. We beat them in the home leg and then beat them in the away leg as well. And then that got us all the way to here, ladies and gentlemen. It was the Europa League final. Charlton versus Real Betis. And Amadouni gets the goal again. 72nd minute for him. A really nice finish and a very good, comfortable goal for the boys. Ultimately, if you look at the game, I think we deserve to win this one as well. So, but Real Betis is a very good team, but the disparity in wage budget and stuff like that, it is what it is. You're always going to value and favour the team from England. If we go and have a look at the Premier League, obviously this one has ticked over to the next season. That run in the Europa League cost us, to be honest. We finished in 10th. Really poor season in the league, but winning the Europa League means we will be in the Champions League for the following season. So, with all that done, 10th place finish, but finishing in the Champions League places. Let's see what happens in season number 10. 10? 7. Definitely 7. Okay, guys, so here is season number 7, starting off with the transfers. Lots of money out in this particular instance. The main outgoing that we need to talk about was a departure in January. Niska Delibasic departed for Stuttgart in the January, ladies and gentlemen. If we go on to the history there, you can see we paid £1.4 million for his services out of the Serbian Superliga, and then we sell him for 44 million quid over to the Bundesliga. You see big transfers like this going on left, right, and Christmas. You can see some of the signings that we picked up as well. Armin Masic, another player coming in, 21 years of age, German defender or central defensive midfielder, looks very good. Mario Gonzalez, another guy from Mexico, another new gen. He is out actually at Real Betis, which is good to see. And then some of the other players going through there. If we have a look at this season's incomings, though, obviously you can see the likes of Jack Butland, etc., leaving on free transfers. You can see Cristiano Ronaldo's gone out on loan, etc. Remember, he's the new gen. And then some of the players coming in, you can kind of see we've been spending money again on some of these new gens. Martin, I'm going to ignore his last name. He comes in. 17 first touch is really, really nice for a youth player like that. Joachim Haag comes in, striker, Swedish. Looks like a Alexander Isak regen. Looks very, very good. High pace as well. Could be a danger in a couple of seasons. You can see here a Despotovic or Vic. Vic, isn't it? Despotovic. There you go. He comes in again from Radniki, again another team in Serbia. Dinamo Zagreb, we basically pillaged their best player as well. Thank you for another striker / winger there. You can see the fees all on the screen, guys, so hopefully you can keep up with these guys, because there's been a lot of transfers. You need to sign a lot of new gens to make a lot of money. Again, high pace Argentine coming in from Estudiantes. Marcelo Grassi comes in from Juve, another high pace player, high impact player on that left hand side. Joan Mana comes in, another player, number 7 on that left hand side. Definitely a first team ready player, this guy. He came in from Real Betis, obviously, who we did just beat in that final. 38.5 million quid for him. And then a couple players on free transfers, but these are all of our youth intake lads, so just make sure you are aware of that. Some of the players that have left for actual fees in this season: Saska Lukic and Arandra has been here a long time, and he's now departed to Hellas Verona because he's not quite at the Champions League level that we do need him to be. Remember, we did sign him in the Championship. We've still made some money on him, and he has finally gone after a season on loan at Verona over full time for £1.8 million. So this is the competition screen for season number 7. Overall, right, I'm really happy with how this has gone. Finishing in the top 3 behind the 2 teams from Manchester is massive for Charlton. Finishing level on points with Manchester City is again ridiculous, but I just feel like we could be doing better in some of these competitions. Round of 16 by Sevilla, a team that I would really anticipate beating here, losing to them 4-3 on aggregate, losing 2-0 away was the final nail in the coffin there. Being unable to score in Sevilla is a problem. We're runners up in the Super Cup. Obviously, Bayern were Champions League winners. They've won it back to back. We were UEFA Europa League winners, and we lose this final 2-1 there. Matthias Tell and Pedro Neto with those goals, making sure Bayern go on to lift that. We got to the semi-finals of the Emirates FA Cup. Newcastle United did beat us in that one. They did go on to win the trophy, so I don't feel as bad about that. Then in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup, we lost to Liverpool. If we go and check on the score on that one, it was 2-1, but we lose to Liverpool, which is rather disappointing. But the Premier League performance is the main thing. We've made a huge grind, a huge push towards the end of the season, because we did drop all the way down into 8th near the start of the season, but that's kind of where all of the Champions League fixtures are being played and stuff. Couple results here not going to our favour, but then we recovered it towards the end of the season, and we did really well, finishing in 3rd. If you said to me we were finished on the same amount of points as Man City, I would think we've done very well. So we have done. We're qualified for the Champions League for next season. Let's go see what we can do, because we're going to have some more money. Obviously, it's the Premier League. It's ridiculous. We have too much money. We've got £71 million to spend again. Like, it just seems like this money is just going up and up and up. £71 million to spend for season number 8. So transfers for season number 8 are very slim indeed. We've only signed 1 player throughout the course of the season, and it is a veteran. It is Frank the Tank Kessie. Now, if you've seen me in any PvP draft competitions, you know I love Frank Kessie. He came in from Barcelona on a free transfer, and he's still old, but he's still got it. 33 years of age, 122 caps for his country. Absolute beast. He came in from Barcelona. Yeah, very good player. Still high teamwork, high work rate, still fast enough to do a job, and he's still playing international football. I've just clocked there, still playing international football. What a guy. You can see some of the transfers out if I arrange these by fee. These 2 are the main ones outgoing that have cost people some money. Kevin Alvarez going to Sassuolo, Thomas Diaz going to Newell's Old Boys. So I'm actually going to talk to you about the team, because it's changed an awful lot. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, here are the boys. Caprelli is asking to leave now. He wants initially agreed playing time, and he's not quite cutting the mustard, because we are giving the game time to this guy, Diego Canali. He looks very good as well, getting the game time in there. But the team is very stacked in terms of a lot of these positions. Frank Kessie, with that maturity in midfield, I think is really a nice push for us this season. Jovanovic is just going from strength to strength, and Geraldoson with 26 as well, an absolute monster. Massive shout out to this guy. If you've not signed him in your saves, please do go and check him out, because he's now got 17 dribbling, 15 finishing, 16 first touch, 16 for acceleration, agility and pace, and 15 off the ball. High work rate, high technique. Just go and sign him. Just please go and sign him. He looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic here. As you can see, he started off there for them in the Super League. And then, yeah, 1.2 million pounds. And now you can see he's wanted by Liverpool, Man City and Milan, and he's valued at 98 to 108 million pounds. This is my Luca Kana this year, boys, if you remember him from my stream save last year. Looks absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about how season 8 went, though. We got ourselves into the top 3 again. The Premier League standard was a lot lower this year. I finished 3rd in the Prem, 73 points for us. Arsenal win the title with 77 points. As I said, it's quite a low return. Get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, where we lose to Barcelona. Semi-finalists again in the Emirates FA Cup. We lose to Leicester, who lose the final to Tottenham. Yes, Tottenham win trophies in these rebuilds, ladies and gents. We got to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, where unfortunately we lost to Middlesbrough. The Premier League's looking rather tasty right now. Lots of teams bouncing around. We've kind of cemented ourselves into this top 4 race, but you can kind of see teams are bouncing around. Man City down in 9th. That shouldn't be happening. That really shouldn't be happening. And there's been several winners of a Premier League title in the recent seasons. So I wonder if we could maybe, before the end of this, get our hands on a Premier League title. Maybe. Who knows? Let's go see what Season 9 has to offer, because we have, again, another almost £70 million to spend. So let's go chuck some more cash at things and be the bullies, because we are the English Premier League. So guys, season number 9. Yes, lucky for some, unlucky for others. We are in season number 9. Let's start by talking about the transfers, because this summer window looks like we've kind of balanced the books a little bit more. 65 million going out, 72 million being spent. We've kind of done our business kind of a bit more sustainably, which is nice to see this year. Andrew Omobamidele, I'm butchering these dudes' names. He's gone to Celtic for 25 million pounds, could rise to 33. Loic Balde goes to Celtic as well, 17.5 million, could rise to 23. Desperotrovic goes to Trabzonspor for 12 million pounds, and Daniel Alcolia goes to LA Galaxy for 6.25 million pounds. Isaac Johannesson didn't want to stay, poor man, wasn't getting enough game time, so he's gone over to Monaco on a free transfer, as well as some of the others. You can kind of see them on your screen here, guys. Talking about some of the players that have come in, we signed a cat. Garfield Emmanuel is coming in, another young youth player coming into the squad. Obviously nice high balance and jumping reach and stuff like that. 6'2", 24 years of age. Bernardo Silva comes in. Yes, the Bernardo Silva came in on a free transfer from Manchester City. Still good, still senior, 36 years of age. We had a year out of him, and now he's about to go and join Villarreal as well. 3 strength from Bernardo Silva is very interesting there. Stefanio Belligia comes in, another youth player. You can kind of see, as I've said, all save long what we're doing with these boys. Javier Margarello. Wow, I'm really struggling with some of these new gen names, guys. Again, another youth player coming in from Argentina, from River Plate, 10.25 million pounds for him. Dejan Stanic comes in, another Serbian. We've been successful signing the Serbs, and we've done really, really well here. High natural fitness. Sorry, I misread there. Nice strength as well. So 22 years of age, 6'3", doing really well. Valued at 30 million quid. Now he came in, Elon, and I'm gonna show you. There is no nickname on this guy. This is his name, Elon. Yep. That's a rogue name to call someone. He is in as well. Alex Pansadas comes in. He is another new gen, of course. Obviously, we're new gen happy 9 seasons in the year 2031. And then this last guy is a name that I'm not going to even try and pronounce because he's an Iranian international, and I would butcher it and feel really offensive. Not that I've not been offensive with some of these others. If we go into the tactic, though, guys, you can kind of see quick pick without the restriction. This is how the boys are looking right now. We are strong, we are good, and the man who we bought from Ludogorets years ago is our baller now. I told you when we picked him up, he was dirt cheap, 6.5 million pounds. He's been with us the whole time. We're playing him, growing into it, and he averaged last season a 6.88, which is a rather disappointing result for Nikolai here, but he looks exceptional. He's a world-class central midfielder with high consistency and high vision. He's wanted by United and he's wanted by Tottenham. I go onto the competition screen, you can kind of see a bit of a spoiler here. Yes, okay, we've ticked over a day 2 many. It usually changes on the 24th of June. We've ticked over a day too many. We're in the UEFA Super Cup final. What could that mean? We won the Champions League, guys. I'm not going to beat around the bush. We won the Champions League. We beat Real Madrid in the final on penalties. They rescued it as well. Dejan Kulusevski with a 91st minute equalizer in normal time to take it all the way to the penalty shootout ultimately. And then Vinicius Jr. was a man who missed the penalty. Rodrigo, Musa, Tchouameni, Luis, and then Vinny missed the pen. Real Madrid were the better team, but sometimes you need to have that luck on your side to see what you can do. And yes, we win the shootout, which is absolutely huge. We'll talk about the Premier League next because yes, okay, we went a step too far. We finished in 4th. We qualified for the Champions League again, which we would have done because we won the Champions League anyway. But a rather disappointing season. 11 points behind Man City, who did resurge back. Man City and Newcastle winning the battle for who can spend the most cash in the division. Let's talk about some of the other cup competitions, though. We got to the FA Cup semi-final where we lost 1-0 to Blackburn. 95th minute winner there at Wembley for the boys. And if we scroll back, you can kind of see we get to the EFL Cup semi-final where we lost on aggregate to Liverpool 6-2. We got an absolute pumping, especially in the game at Anfield where we lost 4 goals to 2. So we had some money. We are Champions League holders. Yes, you will see this. Past winners, Champions League. Charlton Athletic have won the Champions League in 9 seasons from Sky Bet League 1. It's ridiculous, but it shows what you can do when you invest in youth. Use my Wonder Kid filter and all of that good stuff, coupled with a very good tactic from the always amazing GYR. Did I say I'll leave a link to the tactic in the description? I will do. Let's go talk season number 10 and see if we can defend this Champions League crown. So, the 10th and final season, here we are. Yes, okay, it is the final season, and yes, okay, we've kind of gone overboard on some of these transfers because why not? Let's just spend some money as the current Champions League winners, shall we? We got 54 million recouped back, as you can see. Some of the players leaving. Caparelli did finally leave. He was unhappy. Albacerci has gone to Benfica. Panzio has gone to Sevilla as well for the fees on the screen. Let's talk about some of the players. Stanis Idumbu Mutazam. Oh my God. Muzambo. Wow, I am so bad with these names. Honestly, someone commented last week to see if I did this on purpose. I don't. I'm just awful at reading these names. It's really, really bad. He starts to save at Ajax. He is fantastic, this guy. High dribbling, high first touch as well, high pace. It looks like he's developed quite nicely. I don't actually know what his potential is at the start of a save, but he's done really, really well. We paid £64 million to Ajax for him. £27.5 million for this man as well. Jan Shirky, he comes in. He's a very hit and miss player again in terms of his development this year, but he's done really, really well in this season. Mario Stroikens comes in, another winger, again, can play in a number of positions, which is kind of key for this tactic with the asymmetric nature of it. He came in from Stuttgart for £70 million, and this is the last guy. Bolazar Salabo comes in from Hoffenheim. There you go, another goalkeeper. 18 one-on-ones for a goalkeeper. Chef's kiss. Very good. Very good, very nice. Let's talk competitions then, because obviously we've kind of gone a bit overboard on some of these finances. Let's talk competitions. Premier League champions, baby. Okay, we were disappointed in the Champions League. I'll touch on that in a second. We actually did get knocked out on the round of 16 by Juve, so no defending of the Champions League crown. It is difficult to go back-to-back. Who did win it out of curiosity? PSG won the final. They beat Juve in the final, so going out to a finalist is not the end of the world. 5th rounded in the FA Cup by Reading. Knocked out in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup by West Ham United as well. But Charlton are back on top in the Premier League. Back on top like they've never been before. 80 points was enough to win the Premier League this season. Man City flopped it. West Ham in 2nd. Arsenal, Manchester United round off the top 4. Newcastle and Man City there are the top 6. Chelsea qualified for the Europa Conference League despite finishing in 15th. It goes to show the amount of money that you can spend. Obviously, Newcastle got relegated. Chelsea are obviously chucking money at it, and it still does not work. And I've just noticed Mudryk is at Newcastle as well. So ultimately, guys, this team towards the end of it is absolutely stacked. It's absolutely packed full of new gens, and I hope you've enjoyed this rebuild as well, because this is how the team is looking at the end of this 10-season rebuild. If you did want to pick this up with this team, Premier League champions Charlton Athletic, with 100 million to spend, yes, 100 million pounds to spend, you can pick up this save. It's going to be in my Discord. I will post it in there probably the day after the video goes live on the Monday. You can come in and pick up the save and carry on 10 years into the future with Charlton Athletic if you are a Charlton fan. And if you do like these types of videos, guys, please do drop a like on it down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you do like the rebuilds, check out this playlist. It's all the rebuilds that we've done on FM23 so far.